I move for no man, no man, no man, no man, no
We're calling a draw.
man.
Just a flesh wound, 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 just a flesh wound.
But it got fucking really hot. So, but I'm actually going for a run right after this, so I'm like ready to go.
Dude, what else do you expect from this guy? Come on, Gary.
Come
You know
dude,
what
it's
it is.
Monday. We gotta get after it.
Yeah, man.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
How are
dude.
you guys holding up? How was your weekend?
I'm currently recovering from stem cell therapy. So
Ooh.
they drilled a bunch of holes into my fucking hip and sucked it
Nice.
out and shot it into my elbow. Dude, the tool that they use to fucking get it out has like a handle on it and then a needle that's like half the size of a straw. And you just feel them like grinding into your hip. And it was like the most strange experience ever. Like it hurt a little bit, but like more than anything, it was just really weird.
Wait,
Ouch.
so what did they take out of your hip?
Are we
Did they
live,
just-
by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, whatever. I guess that's getting out there.
What did they take out of your hip? Was it adipose tissue, or because they got to get the stem cells from there, correct?
Okay, so I think adipose tissue is one way to do it, but there's another way to do it where they get it from your bone marrow.
Okay,
So
yeah,
they're
you're
getting
way
it from-
too lean for the adipose tissue. Because I was talking to some.
I
people about
guess I
that.
don't know. He had mentioned to me that there was something that people do like that. I think there's only certain ways that are legal in the United States, and getting it from your bone marrow is one of them. I think adipose tissue is another.
Yeah.
But there are other ways to do stem cells. I'm not like fully versed in like understanding of it, but there are other ways to do stem cells. But I think they're only practiced in other countries because we don't have an approval system for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the consensus that my doctor gave me was that it's kind of like they definitely have proof that it does work for certain people, but they don't have like enough of they don't have long enough studies to really show like how it works, how well it works for how long, like on what things does it work for. So it's not very precise yet. They don't have like a full system as to like what exact procedures to take like afterwards or beforehand. And,
Yeah.
they're kind of making it up as they go along right now because they just don't have enough scientific research to kind of to show what's best right now.
Well, because
Yeah.
it's such a novel procedure. It's new. Like PRP was around much longer, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of good research on PRP. But even PRP, it works on some things and not others. Like I got PRP on my hand 5 times, and 3 times it didn't do pretty much anything, and then 2 it was like a miracle. I had it done on my elbow, which hurt tremendously but helped. I had it done on my knee, didn't do a whole lot. Then I had it done on my Achilles. Wow. It was like miracle. I had an injured Achilles for 18 months, and it was dude. It was awful. I would limp out of any workout that was hard.
That's crazy.
For like 15 hours after any workout. So my training camps were constantly just like limping around, getting tons and tons of manual work. And then after my last fight, a couple days later, I literally still had black eyes from the fight, and I had PRP in my and they told me 5 weeks. It was still bothering me for a few weeks, and then on the 5th week, I was just like, wait, I'm not even thinking about my Achilles anymore. I'm not taping it,
Crazy.
and it's literally I've had no problem since.
Yeah, that's what they say is for certain people it works really, really well for certain things. But he did mention, he was telling me specifically the things that he believes they know for sure it doesn't really work on are like full tears. So if you had like a full ACL tear or something, like you need to get surgery. There's no amount of stem cells that's going to like help that, recover. But if you have partial tears and stuff and arthritis and things, he says that there's a lot of research that shows that it gets a lot better. But it's still not 100% precise.
Gary, have you ever considered leaving the country to do that procedure? I hear like
I actually have a friend.
Has really good.
I actually have a friend. I think I want to say Chipsa is the name of the hospital that in Mexico. He is in some part. I don't know if he's like a financier for the hospital or if he just like kind of works there or how the deal is. His name's Scott Nelson. He used to run a company called On the Mat OTM and Lucky Gi. I think he still runs the Lucky Gi company. He was like one of my very first sponsors in jiu-jitsu, and he's always kind of like mixed his way into a bunch of different things in life, like in terms of business. Like he's always kind of had his hand in a bunch of different places to kind of in different stuff that he was interested in. But over the past, I would say like 5 years, he's been talking to me heavily about this hospital that he's been working with. And they do a lot of treatments for a bunch of different things. I think mostly it's like an alternative cancer treatment center. But they also do like a lot of other health and wellness stuff for like serious injuries and things. And I know they've treated cancer a number of different ways with stem cells as well. I don't really fully understand how it works, but I was just reading up on it the other day. So I've had contact with some of those facilities. I know John had told me some other place. I forget where.
In Medellin, there's like a really big one that has a lot of fighters and WWE guys and pro athletes go there.
Yeah,
and I think they just specialize on like sports therapy.
Sure. Mm-hmm. It's a little nerve-wracking, like the whole thing, man, because I like to, before I do things like with my body, like especially something, like I mean I would consider this pretty much like a surgery. I like to like know a lot more about it, especially if I'm gonna go to another country, because whatever it is that I'm trying to do, I can't do in my country. I'm going to do some heavy research. Like I wasn't so scared about doing the regular stem cell thing here, because obviously like clearly they're allowed to do it. And, it's a qualified surgeon that's doing the job and everything. But like, going to another country, even if like the hospital or whatever has a good reputation and you're doing like experimental procedures and things, like it's just a little scary to me. I felt like, I think the main reason why I probably didn't go right away was just I really needed to like talk to somebody that really knew what they were doing and like do a lot of research on my own before I could really convince myself like, hey, yeah, we're going to take a trip to Mexico and just, I think some fighters, like they just don't care. And they're just like, yeah, if it's going to make me better, shoot me up, baby. But
didn't Kanye's mom die from a procedure out of the country? Like, didn't she go down to Brazil or something? I remember that from a few years ago. I think it was Kanye West's like mother. I think she went down for elective surgery in another country and like got really sick.
Cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, cosmetic. Yeah. Do you guys remember this? This is like a while ago, but
I don't remember that at all. But that's the kind of stuff that scares me, man. It's a little weird. I know that happens a lot with a lot of people go out to like Colombia and stuff and get cosmetic surgery and things, and depending upon if they don't get the right doctor, depending on if you get like a shady doctor or something, like you see like these implants like eating away at their tissue like 2 years later and stuff. It's a scary thing.
Well, I would kind of think that Kim Kardashian could kind of point his mom in the right direction. Being as that
maybe
she's
she
like a black
intentionally
belt
pointed his mom in the wrong direction because
she
was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna take you to the best place.
Yeah, she had liposuction and then died a day later.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh, did you guys see Mel Gibson on the Rogan podcast? He went there with a doctor from Panama that I guess he's involved in this clinic, which is a stem cell clinic.
Yeah.
And Mel Gibson says that he took his dad there that's like 90, and I guess the dad could barely walk, and now the guy has like he's even fucking so. So he's like walking, fucking.
That's amazing. Yeah, it does some amazing things for people. It's pretty cool, dude. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to the future on this as far as like the possibilities and stuff.
Yeah, I just think since it was banned for such a long time in the States, they're just a little behind.
Oh, man, the U.S.
That's always the case.
Always behind on everything.
It takes some time for like the FDA to approve stuff.
Yeah. It's good and it's bad. Like, I mean, it makes sure that they make sure everything's safe and stuff. But at the same time, like, especially when it comes to cancer treatments and stuff, I mean, at a certain point, you just got to say like, hey, like we got people out here that, are in a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, like have a high likelihood of potentially dying from whatever it is that they have. And let's just like, let's throw everything we got at them. If there's only a certain percent chance of survival, I mean, hey, like, some experimental procedures, it's like, let's give it a shot. But at the end of the day, I understand why, we have stringent standards and stuff so that, craziness doesn't happen. And, I don't know.
Chris, I'm going to try out your eggs tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Which one?
I was looking at that video.
Yeah.
The poached one. Yeah.
Yeah. Poach is like I said in the video, like it's hard to do, but if you follow the directions, like they're not hard and you can do them perfect every time.
Yeah, because I've done the other ones, but I've never done poached eggs, so
yeah.
I want to see if I can get it done.
Post it and tag me.
Yeah,
See what you got. Let me see what you got.
I'm like, let me see what Chris is up to. Saw your little cooking, and then I stumbled up on your workout video with your spandex.
He tagged me into that one.
Spandex shorts and
I'm wearing them right now.
I like the way that Chris just starts out shadow boxing, and then casually and slowly his like cock and balls goes like right up to the phone lens.
Well, before I edited it, there was like an 8-second of me walking up to it. I'll send you that version.
Dude, come on, man. You know you were peacocking for them DMs, dog. How many DMs did you get?
Dude, I get DMs all the time anyway.
Yeah. Chris is a skinny dude, but his dick looks like high in cholesterol. Bro, you need to put that stuff on Jenny Craig, dog.
I don't limit my cholesterol intake at all. Just
skinny dude with a fat dick.
I think we should change the name of the podcast to that.
Skinny dude with a fat dick.
Yeah.
That's
cheers to Chris's obese piece. Garry.
Yes, sir.
You going stir crazy?
Yeah, it sucks, man. Especially now. Like, you're not really supposed to do anything after you get this procedure done. So, even like regular exercise and stuff, I can't really do too much. Obviously, I can only do stuff with my left hand and then leg stuff. So it's
practice that jab. Practice that jab all day. Get that left hand good.
Do you leave the house? Like, do you go for walks or anything like that?
Yeah, I went for a few walks and stuff around here. They actually have like some pretty cool like facilities. Like there's like baseball fields, soccer fields and stuff. I didn't even know that stuff was over here in this apartment complex, like a park and all this stuff. But they're cracking down on everything. Like apparently like 2 people were playing soccer the other day and the police like they no-go to that shit. They were just like, nope, can't play soccer. So even though they were probably, they probably live together. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's kind of weird. I think it's because they're shutting down. I don't think it's because they don't want people like playing with each other. I think it's because they're quote unquote shutting down the fields and stuff because they don't want people, everybody around. But
there's a ton of parks down here and they're all closed down. So it would probably be the same thing. But people are on the streets all the time over here going for walks.
It seems silly to like stop that. Like I think
I agree.
As long as you keep that social distance, right? Like it should be. I mean, you're outside. I mean, if anything, that's like, probably better. A lot better than being cooped up in a Home Depot or like a Walmart or something.
I agree.
Have you been making them booty calls? Going through that Rolodex?
Dude, nobody wants to come out during the pandemic. Everybody's afraid, So it's tough. Yeah. It's tough out here in these streets for the players.
Yeah.
Booty call numbers are going way down for everybody. That's probably taking the biggest hit.
Yeah, that's something that people aren't talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real pandemic.
That's the real tragedy here.
A lot of pent-up people walking around being trapped in their houses.
Eyewitness News, where news comes first.
I feel like I'm out of the loop. I haven't really been.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm home all day, but I don't listen to like any news or anything. I try not to pay attention to any of it because it's all the same shit.
I used to spend every morning, and I used to watch a lot more TV. Like I'm not even watching Netflix anymore. I'm just like,
everything's doom and gloom, man. People are paying attention to like the deaths per day as if it was like their money in their bank.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh, speaking of money in the bank, ugh.
Come on, man.
Oh my God, I didn't look at my stocks today.
He's gonna start crying. It's gonna be a trigger for him.
Fuck. I'd like to use this time to ask you for a 10 times raise in my sponsorship. I'd like to get 47,000 bags of coffee per month now. That's possible.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, where's my coffee? Where's my coffee, dude? I need.
That's true.
I'm not even drinking Kimera anymore.
I've sent you guys
Hey.
last week, so you should get it this week. Everything's
All
slow,
right.
but you should get it this week. Dude, I saw Gordon posted. He had bags of coffee from like 2 years ago. He had like 15 bags of coffee that he never used.
Yeah. Well, so
What a tragedy,
initially, I think you guys sent like a shit ton. There was some period of time where we got sent like a shipment of a lot, and maybe it was meant for like both of us or something. I don't know, but I had a bunch of bags, like real old bags too. I just gave them to my family members.
Yeah, no, you did. You sent out like big shipments to us. One.
But then it started to come.
I gave it to a ton of people.
It was perfect timed after that. Like then I would get exactly as much as I would use, and I had all fresh coffee.
Yeah,
but I have been.
That was my partner Theo who sent you guys, or who sent everybody large quantities.
At Frankie's pissed right now. He's about to yell. He's gonna yell at you. Teo is in trouble.
We just picked a scab.
Yeah, we did. He's pissed. I could see it the whole time we were talking about it.
Let's move along. So,
I'm gonna text Theo to watch out.
I will say this, Frankie,
hour.
because I had so much and I gave it to my family. There's a couple family members that are buying it now because they really liked it. My aunt told me the other day that my uncle was drinking it, and he was like, "Man, he's like, I've never had coffee like this before." He really loves it. So
some good came out of it. Awesome.
Yeah, man.
So Floyd Mayweather's 19-year-old daughter, Liana, got arrested for stabbing a rapper called NBA Youngboy's baby mama. Apparently, he wrote a diss track about her, and she went to confront him, but his woman stepped out for him, and she stabbed her.
Stabbed her with what? A knife?
So wait, stabbed or the woman? His girlfriend stabbed.
Huh?
He stabbed the baby mom.
Yeah.
It was the girlfriend. Sorry, was the girlfriend of the rapper or the whatever of the rapper?
So
right?
I guess Floyd Mayweather's daughter was his ex.
Okay.
And this dude made a diss track about her.
Yeah.
So she went to go confront him, and he was with his current girl.
Yes.
Which is the mother of their daughter. And she went outside to go confront Floyd's daughter, and Floyd's daughter stabbed her.
So Floyd's daughter was doing the stabbing.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I had thought Floyd's daughter got stabbed for a minute.
No.
Wow. That's nuts, man. It's so crazy to me, like when people get to a point where, I mean, I guess you start to feel untouchable after a while, maybe when you're like in the limelight and you're kind of like, you know, because I'm going to go ahead and assume that that Floyd has shared some amount of wealth, you know, with her, you know.
Of course.
And I'm gonna guess that
she lives with him.
Pretty financially well off. It's interesting how that happens, man. You know, that people like you would think like at a certain point you'd just be like, you know what, nothing can touch me. Like I'm just I got enough money, whatever. Like, you know, those troubles that I have with that person, I'm just gonna let it go and I'm gonna enjoy my yacht. Nope. People going out and stabbing people still, even after they have, you know, multi-millions of dollars and stuff. It's nuts, man.
I can't believe, like, you know, with everything going for her, all the opportunities she has, she just fucking throwing it all away like this.
So silly. Like, I mean, who knows, you know, what the situation is. I obviously would never condone stabbing on any level. But, you know, I don't know what the other side of the story is, if it's just that, you know, diss track or whatever the case may be, or if there's more to the story. You know, I don't know. People do a lot of crazy things when there's that kind of stuff involved. But damn, man, stabbing somebody, that's
next.
I wonder how much time you get for that, you know? Like, I wonder what that's
aggravated assault, right? I mean, depending on aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, if it is a knife. So that's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Yeah. I was watching one of these documentaries on Netflix recently. I forget which one it is, but it's basically, it was in, I want to say it was in Boston, where these two women who were taking in the drugs that the police would confiscate.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that yet.
So basically, these two women, like one of them was just completely incompetent and basically like she wasn't even testing the drugs. She's just pushing them through. The other woman was actually taking the drugs and was like addicted to them. So she was impaired at work all the time doing these drug tests. So all these people went to jail because of their convictions, essentially, basically saying like, analyzing a sample saying, oh, this is cocaine, this is heroin. So you're going to jail because, they found heroin on you. Right. But one was impaired and one was just making shit up. And man, the government really tried to bury it. Like they really tried hard to not free the people that went to jail because of these wrongful convictions. And they were really, it's crazy.
Like
but
they would rather ruin these people's lives to not admit their fault.
Yeah. What was craziest to me though was the amount of jail time that the two women served. I want to say one of them served like a couple years, maybe 2 years, and then the other one served like 18 months.
Bro, that's some bullshit.
Which is insane, man. One was literally taking drugs consistently from the lab. So she's taking who knows how much.
The chick was a junkie.
Drugs. Like the people that got arrested for those crimes, right? For smuggling, let's say you smuggled a kilo of fucking cocaine or something. I'm pretty sure you went to jail a lot longer than 18 months for doing that.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, she probably did more than a kilo of coke just sitting at her workstation over the years, and she's going to jail for 18 months and she sent people to jail that shouldn't be in jail.
Did she have a badge or was she just like a hired technician?
She was just a tech at like a shitty lab that had they didn't even drug test the employees at the lab. Like that's how shitty the standards were.
So they weren't government employees. They were like a third party lab. Like they were outsourced by the
well,
government,
I don't know exactly how that works. I don't know if I remember they probably said it in the documentary. But I think it's a little bit more, I think it's at least on some level private. They're really not supposed to be interacting with anybody other than when occasionally they'll be brought in. So let's say like I'm trying to get out of the sentence and plead not guilty or something. Like occasionally they'll get brought in on the stand to testify and stuff because they're the ones that did the testing for the drugs. But that's about as involved as they get in terms of talking to. They basically just sign a piece of paper, so far as I know. But yeah, man, it's really crazy how unregulated that is. And what that says to me is, hell, if this is happening in Massachusetts, I mean, come on, it's got to be happening in tons of different places, everywhere, and we just don't know about it. They even said in the documentary.
Was it recent? Was it recent?
The story, most of what was happening in the story, I want to say, happened around 2012-ish is when the one woman got convicted, I think. But the whole thing has been stretched out much longer than that because they've been trying to get all these people that were convicted from these who knows how qualified the charges are because they didn't really do the drug tests well. They've been trying to get all these people out of jail, and that takes a long time. So it's still probably ongoing, the process of trying to get all these people freed that were sent in jail because of these, one person being a drug addict and doing the tests and one person just not doing the tests at all.
I'm sure this is going down in Florida too, man.
Oh my God.
Florida has a crazy track record of.
Florida's the Wild West.
What was I going to say? So going back to their jail sentences, like just to give people a rough idea about how crazy the inconsistency is. My father, he used to work for the government, and he took a bribe. He was involved with something where basically he was like working with permits or something for buildings, and somebody wanted their permit done faster or something like that. And he took like a $700.
Just push this through.
No, it's like $700, right? And there happened to be an undercover officer involved in the transaction or something. So they found out, and then they charged him, and he went to jail for 2 years.
Damn.
2 years for that. For basically if all of us right now walked into a 7-Eleven and just stole $700, if we didn't use a gun or something to rob them, and we just stole $750 from the cash register, just like beat the guy up and then like took the money, I'm pretty sure we would go to jail for less time. But and then the best part is it's like you see online, it's like this big government scandal. Like they're like, oh yeah, screw that guy, government corruption. Meanwhile, there's probably dudes like skimming off like millions of dollars that never go to jail.
1,000%.
How old were you, Garry, when this happened?
How old? I was older. I want to say, if I had to guess, somewhere around like 22, 23, maybe around when that happened. Maybe, yeah, somewhere around there. I was older for sure. But it was still like a crazy time in my life and stuff. And obviously my father's. But yeah, man, it was pretty crazy that the way that went down. I kind of look at it similar. I think there was a scandal with Wells Fargo not too long ago where they were making older people open like a shit ton of accounts, like making them like basically opening, I don't know, maybe like 5 to 7 accounts for like each individual that was opening accounts so that they can charge them fees and make a bunch of money. And it was a practice that obviously the whole bank coordinated, but their answer to the problem when the government found out that they were doing this was they fired all their branch managers instead of firing like the higher ups that created the plan to actually do this. They're like, yeah, well, we took care of it. Like we fired all the branch managers.
Fired everybody right below us.
Yeah. The government's like, are you really sure they were the reason that this happened?
They were unscathed? They got away with it?
I don't remember. I just remember watching like part of the trial. I don't know how. I mean, Wells Fargo is still in existence.
Dude,
so
I mean, so much dirty shit goes down. I was watching a reporter this Sunday. Was it Sunday? Yeah. No, on Saturday. From all this Corona stuff going on here in the Dominican Republic, there's a bunch of companies buying from the emergency fund, like selling to the government all these equipment.
Froze from that.
Yeah, selling equipment to the government for like 10 times the price. It's like an oxygen tank, $20,000.
Right.
Wow.
Surgical kit, freaking $3,000.
Yeah.
A crazy amount. So it's like
Supply and demand, dude. Supply and demand.
Nah, dude, it's straight up robbery, man.
Well, they're taking advantage of the fact that they need it. Its demand is high. Like, okay, let's multiply that by 10.
Yeah, and there's rumors that one of these companies is also owned by the president's brother.
Now, the company you're talking about, so this is a company that bought up these supplies ahead of time, or is this how did they coordinate this?
Yeah,
they already had them.
Like, it's a couple. No, it's probably some government officials hit up some of their like key people that probably already have companies established to do these kind of things, like either construction or materials or food supplies or anything like this, and they say, okay, let's put together a huge order.
Yeah.
With like inflated amounts.
Yeah.
And we'll use the emergency fund money to just like pay for it ASAP.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called price gouging. I knew there's a name for it. I just looked it up. Price gouging. That's when a seller increases the prices of their goods, services, and commodities at a level much higher than is considered reasonable or fair.
Yeah. So they probably buy their raw materials from someone in the U.S. or someone from China at a way lower price, and then they just inflate it and resell them.
Yeah. I think I saw something recently as like a counter argument to this, because I think a lot of governments were complaining and like, hospitals were complaining, we're getting sold materials at like higher prices than they're supposed to be. And then everybody was kind of reacting like, what about when I get charged on my bill for like cotton swabs for like $120? Like, you know what I mean? It's like now they're kind of feeling what the rest of us feel when we go get medical treatment, because pretty much everything that we do in the US, at least, that when it comes to medical treatment, unless you have like really, really good insurance, is price gouging as well.
Yeah.
You go in for a doctor's visit and they charge you for just,
and they don't tell you
things that don't cost like any money, like a strep test, for instance. Like it's like a little strip or something that they put on, and it probably costs like $2, and you keep on getting invoices $10 for that at the urgent care or something like that.
Dude, you get an invoice like 6 months after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Your insurance didn't pay for any of this. We'd like you to figure it out. Oh, thanks. Yeah, no problem. It's just like $3,000. No worries.
Yeah. And the doctors and healthcare workers, they don't care about charging that because they don't even see that money. You know, the insurance companies and everything completely take everything. You know, I know so many friends who are physical therapists and doctors, and like what they see per visit is crazy. You know,
Yeah.
they get so little from the insurance paybacks on the healthcare system in this country is nuts.
The system's there's definitely something
Broken.
wrong, man.
Totally
It's not,
broken.
not a good thing.
So is our education system. Like no one can afford to go to school. Like it's crazy. Why are we coming out of college without even a guaranteed job with $100K in debt? What are you gonna do with that?
Well, I was reading that more and more, like, or year after year, kids are opting to be like homeschooled or buy like specialty programs online, like online courses.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty much what people should be doing. I mean, I think alluding to what Chris was saying, it's like, yeah, it sucks and it's crazy, but at the same time, like that's a decision that now I understand that it's a decision you're making when you're very young, and like obviously I didn't have the same mentality that I had, when I was 18 years old. I like to believe that I've learned a little bit more about life by now, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, you chose that, and the tough part about it that I think exists is this fake story that is created where it's like, oh, well, if you go to college and you take on that $100,000 debt, like you're going to be better because of it. Like you're going to get a better job. You're going to be able to pay off that debt and you're going to live a better life because you went to college, which I think that selling people on that dream there's a little bit of falsehood to that. Like it's 100%. Not a guarantee. It's not like you're just going to go to college and you just naturally, let's, for example, the degree that I got was a 4-year degree from Rutgers, but I played it safe because I went to community college for 2 years first. That was scholarshiped because of my grades in school. And then because of my grades in community college, it was scholarshiped into Rutgers. So I really only paid like room and board and stuff like that. It was still a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was going to say is had I paid for 4 years at Rutgers, for instance, which I think would have been roughly with room and board and everything included probably like $25,000 a year. So it would have been roughly $100K by the end of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Even as an in-state student,
which is low end for a lot of schools.
Sure. Yeah. That's definitely still low, even if I did take on that debt.
Yep.
There's not a job that with the degree that I got, there's really not a job that I can think of that would make $100K a year outside of starting your own business. Basically, I went for exercise science, and with a 4-year degree in exercise science, like you're not really qualified to do anything different than somebody who just goes and takes like an 8-week course on personal training. You're not really qualified to do anything really. Like there's no real career path unless you get more school. Like unless I could really go into exercise science if maybe I had like a master's in something, or physical therapy or something with more school, etc. But after that 4-year degree, $100,000 deep already, realistically, I'm not qualified to get any job that's going to be making me, over $100,000 a year. I know that. So it's not a guarantee at all, just going to school for 4 years and then, all of a sudden you're going to be able to make, that money back.
Imagine doctors that have to, go to college for like, I don't know, what is it, 8 years? Yeah. Something like that.
My best friend is in his residency right now. He's 36 years old. We were high school locker buddies, and he's in his residency now. He's 36. I mean, he's got to have a few $100,000 in debt between room and board, studying, books, tuition, and he went to a cheaper medical school. But yeah, I mean, when are you out of that? That's even if you make $150,000 a year, $200,000, like you said, if you make $100,000 in this job and you have $100,000 in debt, how long does it take to pay that off?
Yeah,
you're looking at a decade and a half.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then imagine like somebody in that program, like something crazy happens in their life and they can no longer maintain that program anymore, because it's a heavy schooling, right? Like going to school to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. To be able to maintain that lifestyle and actually continue to go to school, like you have to have a certain amount of time. So let's say maybe somebody has a kid. Let's say maybe, there's a death in the family or somebody's very sick and you got to take care of them now and you have this additional responsibility. Now all of a sudden you took on all that debt and you're not even going to get the degree that's associated with it because you have to step out halfway through.
Yeah, that happens. Or everything goes all right and you come out and then you want to buy a house. So now I got a mortgage. I got a 30-year mortgage on top of the 15 years of schooling that I have to pay off. It doesn't make sense. You never get out.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough.
On a little bit of the positive side, we had this Saturday we had a sporting event, which is WrestleMania 36.
Yeah, I heard they're still doing them.
More of a spectacle. What?
Yeah.
That happened? Like they actually
they're still doing them. No audience.
No one in the crowd though.
But do they test every wrestler?
Yeah.
I mean, WWE, the money is stupid, but
yeah.
wow.
So they did this in a closed environment, and the guest speaker or like the guest host, the guest host was Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, Gronk. Okay.
Yeah. So they were fighting. A group of people was fighting for the belt, and Gronk decided to step in. And he eliminated all the dudes, and he's our current champion.
Wait, Gronk is the current champion?
Yeah, Gronk is the current
That's amazing.
WrestleMania champion.
That's awesome.
So
See, I kind of like this idea of being able to put on these closed events, and I wish that it was happening more. I think everybody's just so scared, like the venues and stuff, to allow this to happen, because I think that's a big part of the problem is anybody that wants to do these closed door events, the venues themselves are scared that they're going to get like sued or like look bad in the press and
Bill
to, like make sure it's carried out safe. Sorry?
Yeah. I was saying, but Bill Gates came out and said that we're not going to have we shouldn't have any large scale group meetings for sporting events until we have a vaccine. So this might persist, this idea of having these closed events for quite some time.
Sure. Understood.
So I'm reading that the belt he won was called the 24/7 championship belt. I don't know.
I mean, it's WWE, so you can make up anything you want, I guess.
I'm glad to see the Gronk is still killing it. So.
Dude, everything that guy touches is gold.
Yeah.
he's one of those people.
Yeah, he's from your neck of the woods, huh? I think he's like a Jersey dude.
Is he?
Yeah.
Makes sense. I feel like I know like 12. I feel like I know like 10 guys like him.
Exactly like him.
Just big, athletic moons. Yeah.
Just fucking fist pumping.
Just the
Jersey club.
Out for a good time, but at the same time could bench press a car, and drink 400 beers in a day. I know a lot of guys like that.
Smashing all the ladies.
Yeah. Got 2 girls on each arm.
No shirt.
Ever. Never sleeves, ever. Like
when I went on my walks
on that Red Bull diet,
I was shirtless the whole time.
Yeah.
Red Bull and vodka diet.
Yeah.
So have you guys seen the Justice League or like any of the DC comic book movies?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen The Flash in those movies?
Yes.
Okay, so the dude that plays the Flash, Ezra Miller, was at like I think it was like a record store, and a girl fan wanted to dance off and got in his face, and he chokeslammed her to the ground.
Stop. This is a real story?
Yeah, 100%. So now he's facing a lawsuit. What a freaking idiot. He had his like hair flowing, his face looked kind of emo. He might have been drugged out.
I'm dead.
Is there video
of girl?
What?
Is there video of this? Or is there
do a dance off? Did that happen?
Yes, he like tried to do a dance off and got in his face, and he like chokeslammed her.
Chokeslammed her?
Yeah.
People are nuts.
It's like a little white punk move, man.
Oh my god.
He's is this what you want? Is this what you want?
That's just a beautiful thing.
Dude, come on.
I'm sorry to the chick that got chokeslammed, but if you can't find the comedy in that, I don't know what kind of sense of humor you have.
What?
There's
These people are nuts, man.
I think some celebrities are just like a little wacky.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you have to be a little kooky to play someone else or to play certain characters, or
Well,
to
I think it's
just play make believe.
sure. I think we still forget that, like, we really don't. One of the things that I consistently am surprised by is how well people think they know me, just because they happen to watch me on video, or whatever the case may be. They see interviews, and you think, like, I guess, like, you just assume, like, you know a person, but, like, you don't. Like, you shouldn't necessarily feel comfortable around me any more than you would any brand new person that you've met in your life. Like,
Agree.
anybody can give an interview that sounds semi-normal and then be a psychopath. Like, you have no idea what I'm capable of, or who I am as a person, without really getting to know me the same way that you would a regular person. And even if you do get to know a person, like, people go crazy all the time, and then what's every interview that they get on TV afterwards? Oh, I had no idea he was capable of that. I've known him for 10 years, and he seemed like a really nice guy. And people just assume that celebrities, I saw him on TV. I saw him act in that movie. It's how could he be a crazy person? You know what I mean?
I have so many people I love, and they're like, oh, they'll mention something that I posted as if like I just posted, like it could have been from whenever, whatever. They're like, oh man, that was the awesome breakfast you had this morning. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. like I don't remember what I posted. I don't,
Yeah.
that, they don't realize that's a different self. It's a different person, different, it's a different identity. You're absolutely right. You don't know me any more than someone who's never met me, just because you know my soul.
Have you guys had
It's
any
always uncomfortable to agree.
weird interaction with people? Any weird fan interactions?
So
I'm sure Garry has.
So this is what the greeting to me is one of the strangest phenomena to me. Basically, like, okay, so you have this one person who has been watching your videos and, like, following you on social media and this, that, and the other thing. And then you have me who, I respond to people and stuff, but, like, that's about as much as I'm interacting. I don't even click on most people's profiles. I don't know who you are, right? Like, if you send me a message or something like that, right? So they'll come up to you, and instead of saying, hey, my name is so-and-so, nice to meet you, I follow you on social media. There's, like, I've had people come up to me and smack me on the back. What's up, man? And it's just like, you don't know me like that. Like, you don't just get to, like, and I, like, turned around, like, ready to fight. Like, I was, like, ready to fucking hit somebody, because I didn't know. Like, I don't know if it was a threat or if it was a person, that I knew, or whatever the case may be. So I turn and I see, like, some random stranger. I'm like, what is wrong with people that they think that they can do that, like, to people just because they happen to see them online? And then one of my favorite ones was this girl was at a jiu-jitsu tournament, and she was up in the bleachers, like, I want to say, like, 5 seats or something. I'm walking with a group of my students, and the girl launches herself from the bleachers, like, in a full, like, standing long jump, and lands in front of us. Like,
And
boom!
goes, fuck me, Garry. Fuck
I
me
wish.
now.
I wish that's what happened, but pretty close. So she jumps and lands in front of us, and she goes, I follow you on Instagram. And I was like, okay, hello, nice to meet you. And the best part was she was sitting down right next to her husband. So, like, that was just totally okay. Just leap out from the bleachers in front of some random dude. And that was a weird one. What about you, Chris?
I'm wet.
This is even this has been, like, even long before that made me think of something. This has been long before, not long before social media, but, like, not the way social media is now. I used to have fan t-shirts with my face on it, like a bunch of them, just, hold my hand, whatever. And I can't count on 2 hands how many grown men have come up to me and been like, my girl wears your shirt to bed every night. And I'm like, I would never tell anybody that. You're telling me that, like, right here. Yeah, dude, my girl wears your shirt to bed every night. I'm like,
she's right here. Wait, let me go get her.
One of the worst things, this is something that dudes
like,
do.
This is my girl.
That I don't think
my girl loves you. Like, okay.
One of the worst things that dudes do, I think, and it's I get it on some level, but I don't think it's intelligent with anybody you're dating to like hyper elevate, especially somebody that isn't close to you that you don't know, and talk about how much like you love that person and this, that, and the other thing, because people are way too accessible now. I'm just letting you guys know, like if you're like overhyped, so if somebody's watching this and you have a girlfriend and right now you're talking to that girlfriend and you're like, oh man, Garry Tonon, he's so amazing. Like, look, watch this video, look at this cool scissor takedown. Okay. Here's what you have to understand. At some point, more than likely, just statistically, you are going to get in a fight with your girlfriend and or you guys are going to break up. And one of the most painful things she's going to think of that she can do to you is to have sex with somebody that you respect. Okay? So the first thing she's going to think of is, oh, hey, that jiu-jitsu guy that he was making me watch videos of the other day, I'm going to send him a DM. Guys, I am very accessible. Okay? It is not hard to DM me and get a hold of me.
So you're like, anybody who wants to DM me.
No, but I'm just saying, like I think that people look at like people that are like maybe celebrities or whatever it is that, when they're watching them on television and they think, well, maybe in the past it was true that people weren't as accessible and it wasn't as easy for your girlfriend to just go seek out that person. But guys, it's really easy. Like it's not hard for a girl to do, like at all. So keep that in mind, like as you're, monitoring your relationship, this, that, and the other thing, that at some point things might get a little rocky and she's going to go reach out. If not people that you also know, it's a little dangerous.
Essentially, don't put people of the opposite sex on a high pedestal.
Yeah, terrible idea. Terrible idea.
Will go in on her. Dude, you know what'd be really funny if like
trust. I was just going to say like John and Tom, for instance, are my mentors, right? They're people that I know and I see every day. So if I talk to a female about them, I'm pretty confident that when that female, if we had an interaction and it was negative and they didn't like me anymore and they were trying to get back at me, if I put those people on a pedestal, it's fine because they're close to me. They're not gonna like screw me. But like, I don't know you guys. Like, I don't know anybody that follows me. I don't even know who your girlfriend is. I don't know who you are. So like, she comes to me in the DMs. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same as putting somebody on a pedestal that's close to you, like a coach or something like that. Okay, I get that, but somebody you don't know, that's like, that's not smart. I don't think.
All right, I got a good idea, Garry. You start putting me on a pedestal. I'm gonna put you on a pedestal, and we're just gonna be constantly
swapping chicks.
Genius.
Dude, what would be really funny if like you met one of these dudes, one of these fans with like their girls, and they're like, dude, bro, I love you. I love your fights, man. You're my girl's hall pass. We have like fantasy
Dude.
people. And then all of a sudden he realizes that his chick is right there and you guys are right there, down to fuck.
And you're just like,
dude, apparently
reality sets in. Oh, wait.
But that's what a cuckold is. There are guys who are into that. Like they want to watch Garry pound out their woman. Like that's 100% a thing.
Just so you guys know, if that's true, my email is garrytonon@gmail.com and
Garry's email is garry@cuckold.com.
You can find him on Pornhub. Dude, that shit happened to me in college one time. This dude that I had just met, he was a friend of mine. We went out and he had his girl, and they both got wasted. And the dude comes up to me and he's like, I got to talk to you. I'm like, hey, yeah, man, what's up? He's like, so me and my girl had a talk, and we decided that you're the one. I'm like, I'm the. What do you mean? He's like, we want to have a threesome with you tonight. And I'm like, I'm flattered, dude, but I kind of am not into that. Dude, I could just imagine.
Yeah, sure. Frankie totally didn't follow through with that. I know he would never think of doing such crazy.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this off air. What really went down?
Trying to come behind me is like, it's my turn now.
I don't like the fact that the dude led that conversation.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
he
little
came
weird.
to you, was like, hey man, I spoke to my girl, we decided. And if it was her,
It's a little weird.
you think about it. Dude, no way.
Yeah, you're like, listen, I have rules. You can only sit in the corner and masturbate. That's it. No touching.
You have to put a curtain. You have to put a curtain over your head and put eye holes through it,
Yeah.
and it's got to be
Yeah.
completely dark. And you're not allowed to moan.
And you got and I'm gonna tie you to a chair so you can't.
Yeah, it's like you need to hide in the closet. Making
hide in the
sounds
air
in the
vent.
closet.
You remember that Chappelle Show episode where it's like they did like a real world,
Like
a
a
fake
world,
real
yeah.
world, and then that dude is like he bones
Lights
the
off.
friend and he's sitting in the corner like underneath the sheet masturbating, like masturbating
Katie.
while he's crying.
Katie got some fat tatas.
Oh, I do remember that. That was never.
Dude, that was and she ends up with him.
Yeah.
The white dude.
So
And
good.
they shank the white dude.
They
You
killed his
remember that?
dad, I think. Dad.
That show
And
was.
then they hand off like the shank, like as if it was a prison shank, like from one dude to the other. Man, it was epic.
Dude, what a legendary.
I forgot about that show. I got to go back and pull those up.
That'd be a good thing to binge watch right now, I think.
Yeah, now's the time to do that.
Good idea. Do you guys watch Key and Peele?
Oh yeah, they're good too. They're
Yeah,
great.
they are
Those
good.
guys are freaking funny as well.
It's Chris's fitness tips he's got for you. He's got the little tips. He's gonna give it all to you. Just the tip. The little fitness tip. He's gonna give it all to you.
Okay, I was thinking about like protein needs because there's a lot of kind of questioning about this, especially when the game changers came out. People are like, oh, the RDA for protein is the ISSN stand is that anywhere from 1.4 to 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram per day is necessary in order to build or even just to maintain muscle. And as high as 3 grams per kilogram per day is actually totally fine. It's not going to hurt you and can be actually beneficial for building muscle. So to put that into kind of numbers and how it would work. So for example, I'm a 70 kilogram guy, so around 155 pounds. So that would be anywhere from 98 grams of protein per day to 140 at the high end of 2 grams per kilogram, which divided by 5 meals, it's less than 30. So it's really easy to hit that number, even though it might seem like it's a lot. And especially now that you need your immune system to be high, so protein needs are higher during that time. 2, if you do become sick, it's better to increase your. And then thirdly, we're all sitting around. We're not as active as we normally are. So the shifting your carbohydrate, your total, total calories coming from carbohydrates or protein, we're going to want a little bit higher protein now because you're not moving as much, right? So a little less carbohydrates, up the protein in order to make up for that macronutrient distribution. And that way you are staying lean, you're staying healthy, you're maintaining your muscle, you're not ingesting a lot of carbohydrates, which you don't need as much when you're not moving, and you're keeping your immune system up. So it would be beneficial to increase your protein during these down times, but also just to maintain whatever fitness level that you do have and maintain your muscle mass. And contrary to popular belief or whatever is out there, there's no damage to your kidneys or other organ systems. The ISSN, like I said, has done tremendous amounts of research out there that as high as 3, 4, 5 grams per kilogram is not damaging to any of those systems. So don't be afraid of eating too much protein.
Are you European, bro? Why don't you use the pounds system?
Oh, kilograms, because
Yeah.
that's what it is in scientific literature.
That's what it
Okay,
should be.
so I'm 200
Not necessarily
pounds.
what it should be, but like,
You don't
Chris.
think so? You like the old system?
no, it's just that's what's in the literature. So like, if I'm reading it, I mean,
No, but I think it's the whole world would, well, I guess it's pretty much the US that pretty much uses this stupid system. I feel like we would all benefit from a massive switch to the metric system. And they tried to do it in the 80s, and then they were like, this is hard. And they gave up. But it's just so stupid. Like, there's no reason for us to have the units of measurement that we have. They make no sense. They're difficult for people to remember.
Whoa,
Why?
bro.
Why not have a world
there's-
standard for measurement?
There's a reason, because we're fucking Americans and we do things differently than everybody else.
That's pretty
So
much
Garry,
what every-
Garry,
Exactly.
would you rather have pounds or kilograms?
Kilograms, 1,000%. Literally, it's a better unit of measurement in almost every regard. There's only a few things. There's only a few things that I think are a little bit more difficult when it comes to the metric system.
Okay, so Chris, I'm
Like what you were
200
saying, you're 200
I'm
pounds.
200 I'm 200 pounds. How many grams of protein do I need to eat a day?
So you divide that by 2.2, and it gives you about 90 kilograms is what you are. And then you multiply that by 1.4, and then you're getting a low end of 127, and then the high end would be so anywhere from 130 to 180 grams of protein per gram per day, and then you just divide that by how many meals you have. You have 4 meals divided by 4, you have 5 meals divided by 5, you have 6 meals divided by 6, and let's aim for that, and that's going to be your range of what your protein goal should be per day.
Yeah, I feel like I'm crushing that right now. So
yeah, and that's good, and that's a good thing, especially now. Like I said, we're not moving as much, so your
you're
total
not
calories
moving.
is going to be less.
I'm doing 2-a-days, dog. I'm fucking doing 2-a-days.
As am
Right. Except today.
Not today. It's
I'm
Monday,
doing
bro.
one, I'm doing 1 today. Because
Okay.
it's like it's gonna be 12 now. I don't
Yeah,
know. Maybe I'll get.
I'm ready to run right after this. So
I haven't been exercising, but I've been focusing on practicing stabbing people and choke slamming them. It's been
bro, I just watched that video. It's intense. He attacks this girl.
Yeah, told you, bro.
That's awesome.
He
I
slams
mean,
her
it's not
against-
awesome. Like, it's
No,
terrifying
that's-
for the chick,
that's
obviously.
not awesome.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
pretty funny because
funny.
he choke slammed her.
Very
That's
funny.
hilarious.
He slams her into a garbage, like a big, like large garbage
Yep.
thing, and then runs her into the ground. Like it's
Jesus.
he
What a
doesn't,
bitch move, bro.
he doesn't Undertaker choke slam her, but definitely
Okay.
runs her into the ground.
Yeah,
Jesus.
he's too scrawny for that.
I wonder what happened. What a maniac. That's insane, dude.
Like
I
I'm
mean,
saying, he
he's
probably
got
drugged out.
snapped. He must have snapped.
Yeah. What the hell? That's crazy. Terrible. Hopefully the chick's okay.
It didn't look that rough, but still. That's
Oh,
fucking-
okay.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
it was rough, but it didn't look like she was gonna get like.
You imagine that was like a fan that asked for that? Like that's a fetish. She likes to get choke slammed. That's what like gets her off.
Garry, that's another email for you.
Can you please choke slam me?
And people are totally
Yeah.
misreading the situation.
Garry at chokeslam BDMS.
If any women out there want to get choke slammed against the dumpster, you're gonna have to sign a release. My lawyer will be writing something up.
Very
ahead of
smart.
time.
Very smart.
All right, guys. Well, stay safe. For all our listeners, if you need us to answer any questions or want us to tackle any subjects, hit us up at fleshwoundpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to our channel and hook us up with some love, baby.
All right.
Peace.
I move for no man, no man, no man, no
All right.
man, no
We'll call it a draw.
no man.
Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh